3 cameras.
Trace.
Wow, I haven't had
Dry.
a camera like that since my professional days as a underground modeling guy.
Hey guys, I'm Jess Dammers from BoardGameGeek TV, and I'm here with Uwe Eickart. Did I get
How you
that
doing?
right?
Is that the camera?
That's the one that we said hey to, but you know, now we're on this one over here. So it's gonna switch around. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna talk about it. So we're talking about Fog of War,
Yes.
right? New series.
I first want to say kudos out to Dirk, but Dirk, man, you got nothing on her. She smells nicer. So for all you guys watching this, go out to a cabinet and spray some cologne out. Wow, no. Aldi's going like this. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. Let's get down to business.
Down to business. Oh, Academy Games.
Yes.
Before we need to cover the basics.
Oh.
Yes. With Academy Games, and we're talking about Fog of War series, the Strike of the Eagle. Super cool. All right. So, all right, Vanna White, put it down. Put it down.
Okay.
So, first off, how many players?
This is a game for 2 to 4 players, and with Academy Games, which camera do I look into?
You just talk to me.
Look in your, oh, okay. So what are you doing tonight? I mean, I'm married and all, but my wife doesn't watch these. Oh, are you? Oh, you're making every board game geek out there like drool.
You're making me blush live.
You are.
On
Yes. See
all
the
right.
color.
So 2 to 4 players.
I'm blushing too.
And how long does it typically play?
I don't know. Usually dinner lasts about 2 hours. And I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. It's a game. Kari, don't kill me. It's a game for 2 to 4 players, and it can last. It's the Polish-Soviet War of 1920. And let me give some background.
Okay.
World War I is over. Europe is in ruins. All of Eastern Germany is under communist control. The Weimar Republic is trying to build up and fight the communists. Poland all of a sudden decides to invade the Ukraine.
Okay.
And they take over Kiev. This gives
Kiev.
the Russians, Stalin and Trotsky, all those, the founders of the Russian Bolshevik, that gives them the excuse to invade into Poland.
Okay.
Their idea is to blow through Poland and support the German communists, have Germany fall, go on into France, and so on.
Okay.
The atmosphere is so against Poland, the world opinion is so against them because they invaded the Ukraine, which was unthought of to get Kiev here, that the British, very much sympathy for the Russians, refuse to ship goods. The Poles are all on their own. The Russians blow through, surround Warsaw. It's almost everything's ready to fall. When between the northern and southern fronts, there's a little opening. Tukhachevsky, the Russian northern commander, sees this, says, bring the first cavalry, close this gap. But there was a lot of conflict between the commanders. And Stalin, these boys, said, we're not going to listen to him. And they ignored the order or lost the order for 3 to 4 days. The Poles saw this, blew through the gap, turned the whole front, and forced the Russians back. It was a turnaround that really changed the course of history. And a lot of people don't know about the Soviet-Polish War of 1920. And that's what we have here. So the theme is something that not a lot of people know about. But what makes it cool is that we have a game system that is very fun to play, that covers a very important part of history.
Yeah.
So that's the background. Now, to give you a little how long a game lasts, the game is in, where's the game box? Oh, here.
No.
It's 7 pounds of game. So it's a big, heavy, lots of stuff in it, $65 MSRP. But what makes a game very unique is we go through a lot of the history of the game. I don't know if they can see this.
Right now we're on. Oh yeah.
Oh, like this.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
There we go. So now it's top down.
we give a lot of the history, but then we go through step by step as the war progresses. So the first scenario is for 2 players, and it only lasts about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So you're playing, you're learning the game, like in our Conflict of Heroes system, we slowly build you into it. Then you get into a bigger game, and it's exactly the Russian counteroffensive, continuing with the Southern Front for 2 players. Then you can play a 4-player bigger game that takes the entire board into account.
This is a massive board, I have to say. I mean, the size of this, I don't even, it's about my arm span.
960 by 640 millimeters.
Okay.
And which is something like, I think that comes out to like 522 inches by 382 inches, which is just under, yeah, it's under a mile, somewhere under a mile. So the players can't see this, but the board really extends into Hall 3, and so anywhere between half an hour up to 3 hours for the full campaign. I don't want to jump ahead, so any other questions? The theme, we covered the theme.
We covered the theme, yeah. So
okay.
No, the end or win scenario.
Well, the game, a lot of people think this isn't really a war game. It's an area control, love your brother game. We're trying to design all our war games in a love your neighbor fashion, so there's no longer any fighting. What we do is, every time units engage together, you roll a die to see if you go out and drink beer or plant flowers or trees. So it's really an ecology green movement game, so that mothers buy it for your little kids, and they will learn about the environment and how to drink beer. Both important factors.
For men.
We also give an option in there. We also give the option to play the game in a more confrontational manner. And I'll go through the rules a little. Mm-hmm. In this game, what makes this game so unique is these are the rules. We give the rules in a graphical form, or we give the rules in a written format. And your eyes got big, but for a war gamer, this really isn't a lot.
Small.
So, in this game, the basics of the game is what makes it so fun. You are giving secret orders, and each player has a group of orders which they have in front of them. And the different orders do different things. For example, if I have an order that looks like, I should have been a little more prepared, that looks like this. Can they see that? Mm-hmm. These are gray arrows pointing out. So if I would put this order face down on this area like this, and let's say I had 2 units in it, these units then could move out during the movement phase. Okay. And they can move into enemy occupied areas or anywhere adjacent or further away.
So could they go together?
They can go together. They can go apart, separate, whatever. But this is a move out order. This, the red, are forced march. In a forced march, your units can move further, and they take that action earlier. Now, forced marches, you go further and you move earlier, but the problem is that your units fight at half strength. So in the mothers buy this for your kids, they can only plant half as many trees. For the rest of you, you're half as effective in combat. A unit has a certain amount of strength points on it. 4, 3, 2, 1. If a unit's at full strength, the 4's on top. If it takes damage, you move it, turn it to the 3. Ah. So I go from 4 to 3.
Very nice.
Okay? So at first we go back and forth, and we will be placing secret orders. So your units, you don't know what your opponent is putting down. So if I'm now the Russian and I want to take over the city of Minsk, that is my real intent. I will go in and I will put in a fake recon order, and I may put an order like over here for my first order, making the Russian think, or the Poles think, oh, he's going to attack here.
So you have to show the piece?
No, it's all
You
secret.
just turn it down,
So
okay.
I put down an order. Now the Poles turn, they put down an order. They go, oh my God, he's going to attack me there. I better get out a defend order and
I
place
see.
a defend order on here.
I see.
Then you're going to put another order, let's say a force march out, and you put it here.
And they're like, oh.
And he's thinking, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And he's going to use up all his attack orders on this, or orders, defend orders on this side.
So not for the paranoid me.
It's a very paranoid game because now I'm going to go and I'm going to put out a mass order move out order, which is anything with arrows pointing out. And of course, yeah. And I could put or even better, I'm going to put a mass order move in, and I put it on Minsk. Now that order allows any unit that's in range can attack there.
So he's busy over here.
He's busy over there, and your
you're
real
gonna-
attack's here. Now we've placed our orders. Now we execute. First, all force march orders. All the red ones go first. So whoever has initiative, and this game has initiative, either the Russian or the Pole. So if I as a Russian have initiative, I will then do all my force marches first. So I reveal all my force marches first, and I will execute them. So I did force march out here, and let's say I also did a move out here, but I don't show that.
So at this point, he's realizing that he was wrong because that
He's
force march
definitely
would
right.
have showed up just then.
Exactly, and he didn't do any force marches. Now I move in, and I'm attacking. Now, that was all the force marches. Now we do all recons. I show my fake recon, he goes, oh, I was faked out. And if the Pole had a recon, the Pole shows his recon order. Now we do all movement orders. I go first again, I show my movement, I'll move into here to pin him. Because if he had any move orders saying, oh, I'm gonna help my units, I can no longer do that because they were pinned.
Okay.
The Pole then shows his movement. He was gonna go here to defend, but it's no longer necessary because he's afraid what's the Russian got here. So as you can see, you're going back and forth resolving your orders. So it's a very fast playing but very paranoid game of deceiving your opponent. Cat and mouse of placing orders, and now we execute all our orders. I have another force march out. So let's say I force march him and I go into here because I'm totally flummoxing him now. And now we do battle. Let's say this was a defend. Battle is very simple. You just count up in a battle what the strength is of each side. So this one had 4, this one had 2. So the Russian has 4, gives him 1 strength point of damage, and the Pole has 2, 0.
Oh.
At this point, I want to introduce the cards. At the beginning of each phase, every player gets 6 cards. They have to use these cards in all of these 5
I don't know if we can
options. Oops,
see that.
sorry about
Just
that.
to make sure.
A round is made up of 5
way.
operation phases. Whoops. A round is made up of 5 operation phases.
Okay.
An operation phase is placing orders, executing the orders, and having a battle. So I'm going to do this 5 times. For these 5 times, I only have 6 cards to do stuff with.
Okay.
And what a card allows you to do, it allows you to modify how many orders you can give. Because normally I can only give 2 orders. If you play one of your few cards you have, and let's say this is my hand of cards, I decide to play one with 2 orders. That allows me to place 4 orders the way I did for the Russians.
Oh, okay, I see.
But then I lose one of my 6. It also allows me to bring in reinforcements. If I bring in reinforcements, I can't give extra orders. So you always have to decide, am I going to, this turn, do a major attack, or am I going to bring in reinforcements, or am I going to play historical event, or the last thing is, am I going to modify my combat? So you have a
that's interesting.
choice to modify a combat by playing a card out of your hand.
This is played after the.
After the combat. When
Okay.
you see the combat, you say, I'm going to play a
Right.
card out of my hand. That modifies it from 2, but for the Pole, he has no threes, or twos or threes to bring him up. So he does no damage here. The Russian decides he's going to play out of his hand. Let's say he has a hand here. He's going to play 1 for 3. So he has a 4 plus 3, 7. He does 2 damage. The Pole loses 1, 2, out of the game.
Well, you can, like, as a player, I can see the other players, what they're...
You have to decide what your card is before you see what the opponent... You have to
so
decide...
you won't see what they've got.
No, you have to decide
Okay.
ahead of time if you're going to modify your combat.
So if you suspect that they're
Strong,
you
you're
would
going to play a
wanna
card
play
with
that.
a high. But the problem is, if you're playing with a high card, you won't have cards later on.
Right, that's
to
a lot of
orders.
great things on
exactly.
there. Okay.
So there's no dice in this game. There's very little left to chance in this game. It's all your strategy, deceit, and counter-deceit.
Okay. The one thing I don't think you mentioned, the recon. What does that
You can
do?
look at your opponent's
So that allows you
count.
to see.
Yes. Yes.
But you can't play the recon. You have to pick these cards before a recon can even be played.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's a game. So you do your force marches first, then you get a recon, look at the opponents, then you play your regular march, then you do your combat,
Yep.
and then you do your reinforcements. We didn't go through this.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next operation phase,
Okay.
and it starts all over.
And-
Decide to play a card for extra orders, place the orders secretly, reveal the orders
Yep.
back and forth, execute the orders, do combat, and the next. That's the whole
So
game.
the like, you know, how each player is doing really can change in just the first
very
phase,
quickly.
and then suddenly, you know, someone's got the upper hand.
Exactly. And that's a game. I didn't go through initiative. When you win a battle, your initiative goes up.
Okay. Yeah.
So only one side, either Russian or Poles, have initiative. Initiatives allow you to do the orders first.
right. Of
And
course.
it's
you wanna-
also, you get to decide who places the first orders.
and
so
that
you
that can really
Make a difference.
Yeah.
If I'm the Pole and you're on the defensive and you have to place the first order and you only have 2 orders, what are you going to do? He's going to attack me there, I'll put a defense. Even before you know that the Russian's really going to be hammering you in the north. That's the game.
Yeah.
The game is out here in Essen. We're introducing it. We will be shipping it to stores the 1st of November,
Okay.
and its containers are coming over.
Cool. Cool.
So that's Strike of the Eagle.
and I actually have one more question.
Yes.
How many pieces do you start with?
In what? In
When you
Each-
start off the game, every player
each
starts with
scenario
the
has a different
scenarios.
setup.
Okay.
The setup's shown. You place your units,
and the amount of
and it shows you how many reserves you get.
okay, that was my question. Cool.
And that's it.
You're right. That isn't as hard as it looks.
We would play one turn, you'd understand it. I was a little thrown off. I could have explained the rules better if Dirk were here instead of Dirk version 2.
No, but I mean, it looks like there's so much to this, but the startup scenarios really they kind of decide how it's going to work for you.
Right. We do it
which
very
is cool.
basic, and we build you into the game.
And for the mothers who want to buy it for their sons, it teaches a lot of history
And daughters.
and daughters.
Yeah, what we do in all the Academy games, we put a lot of history into the game. And by the time you play through the game, you will know the entire war inside out. You'll know what happened, why it happened. We give you the historical overview and the aftermaths. So by the time you're done, you really learn about this period of time.
And then there are the historical events on the cards.
Yes, that
And-
give you even
and
a
those are real,
bigger-
based on real
events. Exactly.
Cool. So the Fog of War, that's a series.
It's a series. The next game in the series is going to be North Africa Rommel. We're doing play testing here at the show. Hopefully it'll be out by next summer.
Cool.
And it's a game, the exact same system, but Rommel, North Africa.
Okay. Well, Link, we have time for
Are we doing another one?
I would like to also mention, of course, we have a new series, and I was going to have the game here. It's coming in, it was supposed to be in today, but it's coming out tomorrow because it's stuck in customs.
Yes.
It's 1812, Invasion of Canada.
Okay.
And that is the game looks like Risk almost, but it's not like Risk.
No
And
dice?
No dice
Okay.
again. Oh no, it's
Oh,
different.
it's-
It has
okay.
dice, but it's very simple dice.
Okay.
And in that game, it is the Canadian militia, the British, and the Native Americans, 3 players, against American militia, American regulars. and it shows the invasion or covers the invasion of Canada by America. And many Americans don't know that we tried to invade Canada 3 times. And every time we got repulsed. And that's where the Britain, give you a little precursor. Britain was at war with Napoleon. Europe was fighting for their survival. America sees, hey, Britain's busy. They've been impounding our sailors from our ships. Let's invade Canada. So they invade Canada, thinking it's going to be rollover. The British do pretty incredible maneuvering, repulse the Americans, not because they were genius, but the Americans were really ineptly led. Then the British defeat Napoleon, send over their troops, burn the White House.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't realize. Remember Dolly Madison?
Yes.
Burned the White House, went along the whole eastern coast, ravaging, burning, trying to get Philadelphia. Americans
What a bad
rallied,
idea that we had. Terrible.
And it teaches you that. And it's an hour-and-a-half game, very simple game. You can teach it in 5 minutes. You roll a die, and it's either a hit, you killed a guy, you run away, or you decide an order to decide to stay.
Very cool. I like that they're based on lesser-known events in history. You know, there's plenty of games about World War II and World War I, so I think that's very cool.
And that 1812 Invasion Canada is in French, full French versions and English versions. Strike of the Eagle has full translations online for German, Korean, Spanish, French. We haven't done, oh, you know what? That's so evil. You know, I don't even know a Native American. If there are any Native Americans out there who will translate this into...
the Canadian one, since they're involved.
Yeah, but it's like there are like a million different languages.
Yeah, is it French-Canadian?
French-Canadian? We won't get into the French-Canadian French. But
it's available in basically the languages it would be most interested in.
It's being published by Synchron in France. So France is getting a bunch. And then in Canada, all the French copies have already been sold through distributors. It's totally sold out already before we got them.
And those are available?
Through museums and stores throughout Canada.
Do you want to show us anything else?
Well, I'd also like, we have shortly coming out in the Conflict of Heroes series. This game was, I can show it this way, I guess.
Yes, and that's a really awesome piece of artwork, I have to say.
This game was, our last game was the invasion of Poland in 1939. We have Guadalcanal. That was really the first American engagement, heavy engagement in the Pacific War against the Japanese. So we have the American Marines and Army fighting against the Japanese. That's coming out, it's at the printers.
Is it available in Japanese?
It is, yeah. The rules and everything are in Japanese, but we're doing only English, French, and German versions.
Okay, and that's coming out?
That's going to be out in January. Then we have First Men in D-Day with Airborne. That'll be out by April. And then we also have our Civil War series coming out, which are huge boards covering Gettysburg. The Gettysburg board is 3 times bigger than this.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a huge game.
You might want to put a disclaimer on the box that you need the living room space to play the game.
It comes in 3 boxes.
Oh my.
It's in 3, and each box is about 8 pounds, and it's fully mounted boards.
Okay, another disclaimer, you need to bring someone who's willing to lug it around for you to get it back home.
Well, you know all board gamers are buff.
Yeah,
I mean, they can carry their
carry
stuff.
the games around.
But it's regimental, and it's you can play that game for 2 to 8 people.
Very cool. Awesome.
So that's what we have in store.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
I appreciate it.
You know, we appreciate you coming out. And this has been Board Game Geek TV. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Look at the pieces jump.